Welcome to this video on setting up your Todoist account. Todoist is a productivity app or website that I use quite a lot to make sure my life happens, whether that be personal, whether that be professional, freelance. We've all got lots going on. I like to make lists. I hate to have paper everywhere. I like to tick things off, and this really works well for me. So I thought I'd do a quick walkthrough of setting up and showing some of the functionality that you can use on Todoist so you can have a look and see if it might be beneficial for you. And I'll share some of my top tips and things that have worked well for me, because it took me a little bit of time to get used to it, but now I use it every day. It plans my life much more than any other calendar, so I know exactly what I'm doing. It is a mobile application as well, but you may want to set it up for the first time on the web. It's up to you. I'm on the web for this demo, but I will drop in some screenshots a little bit later of my account, my real account on my mobile app, so you can just see how some things are set up. So when you've logged in, you can log in using your Gmail account, you can use Facebook, you can just use general email. When you've logged in, it's going to ask you to create your profile. So I'm just going to put my name in there. And it's found a few bits of information. And it's asking me if I want to use Todoist with my team, so if I want to link it up to other people, but for now I'm just going to leave that off and click continue. And it's just going to ask me a few bits to help it sort of set up the Todoist in the best way for me. So I'm going to go for personal and work. And you can even ask for extra help. You've got a little toggle at the bottom, but I'm just going to launch into it and have a play around with it. And when I'm here, you'll see right at the top, you've got a red banner. You can actually change the colours as well, so it's whatever you want it to be. And then I'm looking at today, and it's giving me quite clearly in the middle a getting started guide to help me out with that, and I've got the ability to add a task. So let's have a look at that red banner at the top first before we go into anything else. So we'll start on the left hand side and we'll work our way over. So on the left you've got a menu, and you can see you've got some different sections. So I've got an inbox where generally my tasks come if I haven't allocated them to a project or anything. I've got my today tasks. I've got upcoming tasks, so I can go and look ahead in the future. And I've got filters and labels, which I can use to really make it easy for me to find the tasks that I'm looking for. And then I've got projects, and it's just set up a work project for me in a home. And I can change these, I can edit these if I want to. I think I can have about 5 or something on a free account, which works really, really well for me. You can have them in different colours, you can use emojis in the names to really make them stand out, and you can allocate tasks to those projects. So again, you've got another way of finding your work and grouping it all together. You've also got the home button, so if you get lost at any point or you've gone and done something different, then click on home and you'll come back, and you've got a search bar where you can go in and type in different things. You can search by the filters that you set up and things like that. If I head to the right hand side, you can upgrade to Pro, obviously, if you want to. You can add a task, so you've got a plus there. You can see how many tasks you've done, what's your productivity like, and you can open that up and really play around with that. And you might want to play around with that a little bit more if you want to set some goals for yourself on tasks completed during the day. You have a question mark for help, a notification bell, and then just like any other thing, any other application, you've got your account section where you can go and look at your profile and things like that. So in the middle, like I said, I can see today's task. It's asking me to learn the basics. Now I don't need the basics, so it's absolutely fine. So I'm going to add a task. I'm just going to stick in a task for me today, which is I'm going to clean the kitchen. And you can see I've got a few options. It's today, I can do priorities. I've got reminders, but that's in the Pro account, and location in the Pro account. And then the 3 dots give me labels and extensions. So I've got a few different options to play around with. And remember I said it goes in the inbox when it's not linked to any projects or anything. But just have a look on the left hand side. There are a few projects that have been set up for me. And if I click on inbox, you can actually see it's created those things randomly for me. And I can put this into my home routines. That'll fit really, really well in there. And then just add that task. So I've now got that information in there. It's in my today's list, but it's also in my projects on the left hand side. And if I want to confirm that, then all I need to do is click on the tick, and that's done. And you sometimes get a bit of confetti and stuff to show that you've done it. And let's also just tick off that other one that I've got there. So let me do a different task for you, just to show you a few different things. I'm going to clean the bathroom. No one likes doing that, right? And instead of today, I'm going to set a different due date. So when I open up today, you can see I've got a few different options like tomorrow and later in the week and at the weekend, or I can just pick on the calendar. But what I've also got here is a time, so I can set times for my tasks as well. And it's best practice, I think, to do that first. So if I go in and add a time, and you can see there it's looking at my time zone, and it's looking at Europe, London is my current time zone. So let's say 2 p.m. and add that. It's added that there, and then I'm going to select the date that it's relevant, because if you select the date, this box sometimes disappears and you've got to go back in and start messing around with the time. So just a top tip, I'm going to do it on Thursday at 2 p.m. and let's add that task. And I'll just leave it in the inbox for now. So you'll notice in the inbox, if I go back to that, there's a couple of different things in there, but if I go into today, there's nothing there. But let's go into upcoming, because I put it in Thursdays, and you can see I've got it there on Thursday. Now this view looks a little bit different because there's different views I can work with, and this is the same on the app as well. So you'll notice in the top right hand corner you've got a view option, and you can see different layouts and different sorts. So it's currently viewing a board option here, but I'm going to go for a list. And now you can see it's a little bit easier to play around with. And if I scroll down, you can see the clean bathroom I put in there, in and around all of those extra project tasks that it created for me when I selected what I wanted to do with Todoist. And I can go in there and I can make changes to it if I want to. I can just click on it and it will open it up. I can put in a description and I can add a subtask. So if I want to be really specific about what I'm going to do with this clean bathroom, if I am going to wash the tiles, add that task. It's in as a subtask underneath there, so I can then start to click off all the little parts. So this is really great if you want to break things down and you've got loads of little things that you want to do and you want to tick those off, but you don't want to make your Todoist really busy. You can create an overall task and then mini subtasks that you can tick off. You can still get that pleasure and that's still productivity of ticking them off, but they can be hidden in the full list. But you can always see them, you can delete them and all of that great stuff. If I come out of there now, you can see with the icons I have not out of one of those subtasks done, so a really great thing there. What I can also do is click and hold on it and move it around and it will change to Wednesday because I've dropped it into Wednesday section. If I click on it, you can see the due date on that right hand side is Wednesday at 2 p.m. So you don't have to go in and make the change, you can move it around as well, especially if you're on the desktop version. And if I hover, you can see you've got a couple of options there. You've got a quick edit option, set due date, comment, and then you've got more task options as well. So you've got lots to play around with to enter your tasks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the filters and I'm going to go to the projects to show you those bits as well, because you really want to know those when you're getting started and playing around with this. So I'm going to go to filters and labels first, and when I click on it, you can see I've got a little bit of an AI filter assist coming up. I'm just going to dismiss it for now. And you can see I've got filters and labels that have been preset for me. Now I'm actually just gonna delete. It's just giving me a warning just in case I delete something I don't I don't want to delete. And these really help you just to find your tasks a little bit easier, especially if you've got loads of different things in one project, but they're ever so slightly different, and you've got your searching and your filtering options to help you do that. It's almost like creating another list within a list, which is quite exciting when you like lists. So if you want to create a filter or a label, I'm going to create a label. I'm just going to click on the plus, and I'm going to call this let's call this a short task, and select a colour. So let's go for violet and click on add. And you can see now I don't have anything that has a filter of short task in, but I will do in a moment. I'm just going to go back in and add another one, which is long task, and select a slightly different colour for this one. Let's go for lime green. And again, it just takes me into that area, but I can use the menu on the left hand side to pull myself out. And if I look at clean the bathroom there, and if I go into edit, what I will be able to do is in the three dots, I can now see labels, and I can now see I can add it as a long task or a short task. So let's go for a short task. It's reasonably short. It's not going to take me all day to do it. And click on save. And now you can just see that that label is in there. So again, it makes it more visually friendly. You can spot things, and if I go to my filters and labels and go into my short tasks, you can see that task is now there as well. And you can create however many of these you need to. Let's have a look at projects, and when I hover over projects, you can see I've got the plus sign, and I have a drop down to just remove those. Now if I have a look at these, I've got the three dots. If you use any Microsoft tool or any other tool, you generally know three dots. It gives you more options. So you can see I've got the ability to edit my project names, I can duplicate it, I can email tasks on this project, and I can also delete it. So what I want to do is get rid. And I want to get rid of that one as well. So it's just empty, and I can start and play. Now it kind of looks like you can't do anything because you need to hover over where it says projects, and let's click on a new project so you can have a look at how that looks. And let's go for household because that's a task that I'm working with, and you can select the colour you want to work with that. So you might want it slightly different from your labels or your filters, and some of it makes sense. And I can see I've selected personal there. And then I have different view options. So I can either have it as a list or I can have it as a board, which might feel similar to some of the other productivity apps out there. I'm going to leave this one as a list because it works better for me visually and also on the mobile app. And I'm going to click on add. And now I have a new project where I can allocate all of my tasks to if I want to, and I can create tasks directly in here that will automatically have household as the task, the project or anything like that. You can also add sections and you can group things within projects. So I find this really useful if I'm doing anything about my work and I need to break my work down into different parts, maybe different projects that I'm working on with my work, maybe in my freelance part, it's a YouTube channel or any other content that I'm creating. So you can create sections and section out your projects as well, which is quite useful. So if I just add a section and create weekly tasks, you can see I can start building up sections in there. And when I go into this drop down where it says household, it now says weekly tasks. So I can drop something into the general project, or I can drill it down into that section, which is really, really useful. Something you're going to want to play around with, you're absolutely going to want to download the mobile app. If you use a mobile all the time, you can have it on your tablet as well. If you've got a tablet, I have it on all of my devices. So I can just look at my tasks, I can move them around, and I can tick them off as and when I've done them, and it helps me organise my life. So if you're interested, definitely sign up for a free trial, have a play around with it. Let me know what you think. Please do like and subscribe this video and let me know what else you would like me to record. If you want me to do anything more on Todoist, on how I manage tasks and maybe some extra top tips, then please do let me know in the comment section.